In this video I am talking about this, my ultimate handheld rig for my Lumix S5. If you are here for the first time, my name is Pav, and on this channel I'll talk about all things photography and video, reviews, tutorials, sometimes tutorials, and much more. So if this is something that you are interested or might be interested in, please consider subscribing. I have been using this rig for quite some time now on my Lumix S5, so it's all tested in field and actually in practice. So I believe this is actually all working. Maybe not for everyone, but for me particularly, all this works. So if you are looking to build your S5 rig and you don't know where to go or what to choose and why, hopefully this video will be helpful to you. So without delaying it any further, I'm gonna strip it naked and rebuild it and talk about every single component in detail, why I chose it and what it does. Panasonic Lumix S5, what a brilliant camera this is. I use it probably 99% of time for all my B-roll handheld shots or even handheld interviews because the stabilization is so good. The camera works on its own perfectly fine, but for filmmaking you need to add a few extra bits. I use the monitor, I use a Ninja 5 recorder monitor as well with it. Also follow focus and manual lenses. So I need to kind of beef it up a little bit to give it a tiny bit of more weight, as well as allow me to attach extra accessories like a follow focus and a monitor and microphone. I have tried a lot of different rig cage accessories companies, and apart from Tilta, which is very expensive, they all kind of don't really fit the purpose in my opinion. There's always little niggles. When you go to SmallRig, everything is made right. Everything fits together perfectly. A cage fits perfectly around the camera, etc. So pretty much everything here is SmallRig. I do not remember the names of all these, but I put them on the screen as well as links to all of them to purchase them underneath this video in case any of this is exactly what you're looking for. So let's start from the cage. The cage for Panasonic S5 is made like a glove. It fits well. For me, as a hybrid shooter, I actually put the camera in the cage when I'm filming with it and take it out to do photography. I do use multiple cameras, so I don't do this on the job actually when I'm filming, but before I go to the shoot. So I'm saying that all because there is one little niggle which is a little bit fiddly putting a camera in the cage. All the cages they do have got that tiny little screw which goes through your side of the camera as well as the screw on the bottom to hold the camera in place so it doesn't twist. But that goes through one of those strap triangle holding holes. It doesn't seem like a biggie, but if you've never taken those out, it might be a bit challenging. After several tries, I have found a little tiny trick to remove those or put it back in quickly. You have to remove that plastic cover first, which is just clip on. That just comes off easily. Now with these, it's like a keyring, you know, with a double wire squished in. In a keyring, you would just basically lift up the end of it and slide a key on. But this is, because it's so small, it's very tight. Going from the end where the wire finishes, it's almost impossible to open it wide enough. Use a small hex key or Allen key. I'm using the one actually which comes with the cage on the bottom here. Small one, and you turn this triangle actually upside down, so you're going for the pointy bit of the triangle opposite side of where the openings are, and I squeeze that Allen key, the hex key, in that space. And once you put that key in, you can actually wiggle this out quite quickly. This used to take me like 15-20 minutes to do it every time, and I would get really frustrated. With this method, using a hex key and going from the opposite side, it takes literally a minute, if that, probably not even that. You could take the other one out as well. I keep it in, but when it goes in the cage, you have to be careful so it's aligned properly and doesn't block the camera going in. Okay, you screw the screw from underneath into the camera first, and then use that tiny little screw to go through that little hole to screw the camera to the cage on the side. And that's it. The cage is on the camera. It literally fits like a glove, all the way tight around the edges. There's nothing moving, nothing is banging on the camera won't get damaged. It's also, if you keep the cage on the camera, it protects the camera from your everyday scuffs, really. So yeah, so that's the cage. Next thing is my base plate. Base plate, which can be adjusted height of with two 15mm rod holders. I use this to mainly add the rods so I can add the follow focus on the camera. So yeah, the base plate, it comes in two parts really. Is the standard Arca Swiss little plate and the holding bottom. This doesn't actually screw to the middle of the cage, it's slightly to the side, but it doesn't really affect it in any way. That actually clips very easily to this base plate now with one move. Okay, these actually you have to buy separately. You can get them different length. These are carbon fiber 15mm rods, and they slit in these holders here on the bottom and lock into place, just like so. Okay, I'm gonna put a lens on this so the camera is a bit better balanced in the middle here. Next thing is the handles. SmallRig does a lot of different handles, and sometimes I find it very difficult to choose which one is right. In principle, left, right handle, top handle, they do exactly what it says on the tin, but there's small variations in them on the size or functionality. So I have chosen top handle is this one. This is specifically for this camera. It's actually got a rec button on top, so you can trigger the camera to record from the handle instead of fiddling with the button. The rec button is slightly under the cage now, so actually pressing it there, well, you can get your finger in there, but it's not on top anymore. So having actually the handle which you can trigger the recording from is very handy. Unfortunately, this is a NATO rail handle and the cage hasn't got a NATO rail, so you have to add the little NATO rail holder. There are other handles which screw directly to the cage, but if you want this one with the rec button on top of it, it's a NATO rail only, and that just basically slides onto this attached now a NATO rail and screws on. It's tight enough actually to just do with your fingers, but if you are like me, a little bit paranoid it's gonna fall off, you can tighten that with a hex key. And that plugs into your remote socket on the side of S5. So it starts looking more like a video camera now. I am one of those people who do like side handles on both sides, and in this case there is a specific reason for that, and I'll show you why. Firstly, I'm going to attach the first handle, which is this magic handle on the side here. That's a NATO rail again, so attaches, slides onto the side of the cage here and just tightens up. Now this handle is a little bit different than your usual. Usually handle just screws on tight. You can have the wooden ones or the metal ones with the rubber grips like this one. But this one's got actually clutch on the side, and when you press it, it actually rotates. But it's very pretty looking with the red actually matching the red accents of S5, and it rotates to any angle you need it. Okay, the second handle, I've chosen this one because it's got a slightly longer this arm which attaches to the cage. That's because on this side I put my monitor, and sometimes I use very small monitor if I'm recording to the camera, but most of the time, as I said before, when I use Ninja 5, Atomos Ninja 5, the screen has got enough clearance so it doesn't bang to the top handle, or the cables are not wedged in between the handle and the screen. There's two screws attaching to straight to the cage. The two screws give a really nice firm connection here. Next thing I'm going to put on this is the follow focus, and this is the best follow focus I have ever used. Simple, small, and it works really well. That actually comes with a little clamp you can attach to the side of the cage with the rod. So if you weren't using left side handle, you could actually put the rod which comes with this directly to the cage. But I am using two handles, and this actually goes onto the rod which is underneath now camera. If you are using cine lenses, they will have a gears which do actually match to that and do work. Also, at the moment, I don't know if it's gonna be this offer is gonna last for a long time on SmallRig, but at the moment, if you buy this mini follow focus, you can actually get all three these rubber rings which go on a lens. It comes as a standard with one of those you can attach to any lens with a clip-on slide-on thing. But if you are using lenses with a focus by wire which got no hard stops and they turn around, that attachment on the gears with a clamp, you will be eventually gonna hit your your follow focus. So these actually are brilliant because they come in different sizes, and they basically, it's like elastic band, stiff elastic band, which attaches to the lens, and there is nothing obscuring the lens from turning all the way around. Also, this mini follow focus got these two clever little movable screws, which are, you can set your focus from A to B. So if you're doing small focus pulls on the lens like this with the hard stops, and you want to just focus from one point to the other precisely, you can actually preset the travel distance. When you turn the wheel, it only travels from one point to point, from point A to point B. Really, really nice, the whole thing, and it works really, really well. So now coming back to this handle, tiltable handle. Very often you put the camera weight on the follow focus, so small adjustments or even big adjustments are more difficult. I like to put my weight on the handle and use my fingertips to control the follow focus. So with this, because I can tilt it, I can actually rest my palm on the handle and just use my fingers to control the follow focus. For me, that actually works very well, and for that, I love that handle on this side a lot. So yeah, it's looking pretty much like a proper kit now. Now I use also the monitor, which I mentioned before a few times. I'm actually recording with my Ninja 5 right now, so I can't use it on this, but here is my stand-in little monitor, slightly smaller than Ninja 5, but it goes on this side on the handle. I'm also using these SmallRig monitor holders, which don't require unlocking. You just basically tilt it, you don't have to unlock anything, and it turns any direction you need it quickly. I also use a SmallRig cables. I use these cables with the cameras on the gimbal, so I need lightweight, flexible, thin cable, and every cable I keep trying, they just keep breaking. And so far, SmallRig was only one cable which actually lasts. I plug the monitor straight to camera into HDMI socket, and I don't use clamp. I have tried clamps before, and in theory it protects your cable from wiggling and bending. But also, when you clamp it onto the cage and lock the cable in, sometimes by locking it, tightening it, it moves the cable in, and I lose the connection by just clamping there. Yes, it is a little bit tight on that side, but it's still enough room to put your fingers in there. If you're using it that way, resting on your wrist, it's not in the way at all, and I never had an actually issue of breaking or bending the cable this way. But if you feel that the clamp is a way to go, there is actually clamp available to clamp the cable in. If you are recording audio on camera, you can put a mic on top of this handle here. Now, putting mic on top, it's actually great when you are recording to the camera with monitor like this. There's no issue. If you are close enough to someone, you can actually get audio. Also, if you are recording audio separately, this is great to record reference audio to your camera. All good. If you are using Ninja 5, the fans actually are quite loud. So if it's there next to your microphone, the microphone might possibly pick it up. In my experience, it's so minuscule, so easy to clean up in edit, or completely ignore even, because the noise is here. It's not really loud noise, and the microphone is very directional, so it doesn't really pick the sound doesn't pick the sound very well from the back or the side. So whatever you record in front is what you are recording. Yes, you're gonna pick it up, but very, very little. So not a big issue, really. Also, when I do interviews, handheld interviews, and I'm holding the camera, I use very often the Rode Wireless Go, which goes straight onto my recorder, my Ninja 5 or a handle, and plugs into Ninja 5, and I want the mic, the talent, the person talking directly with now no cable or any issues with the fan noise being recorded. So this is pretty much it. I must say that any camera rig, it should be an extension of the camera and not something you have to worry about. This is so solid. You can hold it anywhere. You can grab it by one finger on any of those handles. There's nothing rattling, nothing is moving. Everything is absolutely solid and properly attached to the camera, and that's what you really need when building a rig like this. So yes, if you got this far in this video, you truly deserve a medal. So thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, follow me on Instagram. See you next time. You could take the other one out as well, but yeah, if you could take the other one out, you could take, so you have to add extra little nature. But if you are using they are very robust as well. So that's pretty much, so this is it. And this is it from me. I hope this video how many times? And this is it, it's a wrap.